Let's talk about marketing, define marketing, and what's the difference between marketing and advertising. And we have a lot of questions as far as pricing your services. So we'll be talking about pricing as well. So let's go ahead and define the marketing, and we will also talk about the social media marketing. Please prepare your questions. This will be amazing video. And as far as time frame, we will have about 30 minutes, and the maximum we can do is about 45 minutes. So we'll take questions, but please prepare your questions while I'm going over the slide. So I want to talk about real quick what's the marketing versus advertising. And if you're new to this channel, please consider subscribing. And the title for this video is How to Market Your Independent Freight Dispatching Business in 2020. And we'll be talking about marketing strategies, marketing tactics, and defining, obviously, terms that we're going to use in this live stream. And the pricing is really important. So you guys kind of confused how much you should charge to your customers. And I see people charging 2%. I see people charging 20%. So we'll just, talk about more in detail. Please, get ready with your questions. I'll come back to those questions in a moment. I really want to talk about real quick what's the difference between marketing and advertising. And it might be confusing, marketing and advertising. So I thought, let's define these before we jump in and start talking about marketing and advertising. And I have a marketing background. So back in the university years, I remember one of our professors told us that the easiest way to remember this is just remember market plus advertising is equal to marketing. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, just bear with me. Get clear. So obviously, what is marketing? And marketing, it's a process that involves designing. Think about your website. Think about your the business cards, pamphlets. Think about those things. It's design, creation. In the marketing, it's actually, think about in general, it's researching and data mining about how to best align the ideas idea of a product or service with the target audience. The target audience here is basically your carriers. Why it's target audience is because we have, different markets. For example, we have a flatbed market, we have drive-in market, we have car hauling market or auto transport, and we have a reefer market, right? So you must pick a market. And then obviously within that market, you will be defining your target audience. So the carriers, what type of carriers we're talking about, okay? And obviously, what is advertising? Advertising is more specific. Advertising is the process of making a product and service known to a target audience. Now, you have your services, meaning independent freight dispatching services. Now, you need to market your services to carriers so that they know that you exist, right? So your services exist. And it is the description used to present the product or service to the world. And in coming back to marketing is actually think about like packaging your business. And within that business, you're creating your services. Now, advertising is a specific way of presenting, or think about just presenting. So let me come back and start taking questions, and then we'll talk about the social media marketing as well. So let me see. Okay, let me go ahead, and MK says, hey Kamal, hi. Let me see. Okay, let me take this question real quick. It's from Facebook. Hey Kamal, hi. Should independent freight dispatcher have a business liability insurance? My lawyer told me that I must have one. Okay, so I don't know, maybe they're, states, different states. And obviously when your lawyer says, that you must have a liability insurance, then ask him why and why you think I should have, for example. And obviously it's quick disclaimer, I'm not a CPA, I'm not a lawyer. So, I own my businesses, and basically I speak based on my experience. the specific situation here, and again, so I really want you guys to ask specific questions as far as marketing, advertising, pricing, social media, but this is also important question. Carriers, they have their liability insurance, right, for their businesses. So if you're thinking that, Kamal, I need to protect myself in case something happens, or I'm assuming this is what you're trying to do to protect yourself, and think about, I have a liability insurance, I have a cargo insurance, right, and a physical damage. So what we're going to do is that if let's say we contracted, your company and my company, you are an independent freight dispatcher, I'm a carrier. Basically, I have an insurance, and then I'll be listing your company as a certificate holder, right? And then additionally insured. And I teach this, inside the course, and tell my students that you must do these two things. It's really important. In case something happens, you protect it. But if you're saying, Kamal, I have this independent freight dispatching business, I have my office, and I really want to get liability insurance, that is a different situation. But what I'm talking about is different. It's like protecting you, not being liable to the cargo on a trailer. Something happens, accidents, cargo damaged, meaning load damaged, then your broker will obviously will file a claim. Against who? Against my policy, meaning carrier's policy. So you protect it. How? Because of the certificate, holder, and additionally insured. Please, keep those in mind. It's really important. So let me come back to this. Second question: do independent freight dispatchers charge a sales tax from their carriers? And again, sales tax. Think about, and again, these questions to lawyers and CPAs, I'll do my best to help you out since I'm in this business. When you're doing business to business, which is also known as B2B, then you're obviously not charging sales taxes. Why is that? Because it's business to business transactions. When you pay sales taxes, when you have business to customer, for example, then you charging the sales tax. Think about, for example, if you're in Georgia and then you wanted to become a student of mine, then I'll be charging you a sales tax, the course and plus the sales tax. Why? Because I'm a business, but you are the end user or consumer, meaning business to customer. So those are the important things. Please remember, business to business, no sales tax. But again, please verify with your lawyer and CPA. Great question. So thanks for yours. Yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. Let me take this real quick. God says, I have a plan to buy your course, but I wanted to know if it's possible to share the same course with my brother in other country. So the course is actually, the training portal is for each user. I mean, for just one student. So if you're, let's say, in the office or at home learning, and you have obviously your family members, there's no problem. So we use platforms. We'll be giving you the login, credentials, so that you can access the course. And let's say you are in Georgia, you're accessing the training, and then you share your login information with another person or your brother, which is out of country, then the platform that we use, they will just block because of the IP, different IPs, is just block, and then you won't have the access to your the training portal. So to answer your question, is actually you cannot do that. Just one student, one training portal. So let me see if we have questions. Please let me know if you have questions. And this is the Q&A. So we will do. We'll just continue doing this as long as we have, questions. Please let me know. So let me see. Okay, so no questions. Okay, let's talk about then, while you guys, coming up with the questions, let's talk about the, you're welcome. Absolutely. So let me check this real quick. And yeah, absolutely. You're welcome. And let's talk about the, marketing, and let's start with the, pricing. I really wanted to hear your guys' opinion as far as pricing. If you're an independent freight dispatcher, please let me know how much you're charging, and then we'll start the conversation by why you're charging that. Can you charge more? And just let me know what are your charges. And let me see, Justin. Let me take. There you go. Justin says, how do you take time off as an independent dispatcher? Awesome question. This is, Justin, this is how it goes. In order to remove yourself from your business, you must create systems, right? So what you do is that you then give a system to your, let's say, team members or the people that work for you. Then they will be running your, business. Business is actually it's all about systems, right? So if you create systems, then you easily can remove yourself. And we talked about this a lot as far as working in your business or on your business. So creating systems within your business, then you can remove yourself by giving the the systems to your team members, and then they will or think about employees. Maybe you will have contractors, and what they will do is that they will be running your business. Basically, they're running your system. That's how you can remove yourself, if that's the question. If you're saying, Kamal, like as far as vacation goes, meaning time off, if you have this like on the business, like basically if you're managing your business, then like there won't be any issue to take time off. So you're just managing your business. That's how it goes. And let me go and check this question real quick. Okay, how much does it require to start starting dispatching company? Well, good question. Starting from zero, the independent freight dispatching business, it can be anywhere between, I don't know, $500 up to $1,000. And this is, and what I'm saying this, I will give you an example, and we will just, go in depth as far as, startup cost goes. And this is the beauty of, independent freight dispatching business, is because of low startup cost compared to trucking company. Think about, you will be buying a truck, for example, and let's talk about the Volvo trucks, for example. Anywhere, like think about used. I'm not even talking about the new trucks, because they're like almost nowadays it's almost like 160 or 70,000 dollars for a truck, for the new truck. Think about used truck, anywhere between 2 years old, maybe 3 years old. It's about $100,000 for truck. And obviously, like 100,000, it's a lot of money, right? So, and then there's a down payment so you can finance. If you have $100,000, then yes, you can do that. You just go and buy it, but not many people will just have that $100,000 and then buy a truck and start trucking company. But most likely there will be financing through the bank, and banks obviously requires 10, 15, 20% down payments. 20% of 100,000, it's about $20,000. I'm not even going into detail because it's not the theme of this video. Is like you have like taxes, you have tags and MCs and DOTs. It's a lot, right? So you look anywhere from 20,000 up to $40,000 just the startup cost, so that you can start your trucking company. Whereas independent freight dispatching company is just you're starting out, how to dispatch trucks, and then you're offering your services to carriers who, let's say, have the trucks and trailers, meaning you're not buying any trucks. So it can be anywhere from $500 to $1,000. Basically, filing your LLC, there's a couple $100. Then business license. If you're out of country, then you'll be using registered agent. A couple $100 there. It's less than $1,000. And if you are planning to work from home, obviously that will keep you below the $1,000. So hope this helps. Great question. Let me see. There you go. Let's talk about Grace. Hi, Grace. When you are onboarding your carriers, the companies ask that your carriers add them to their insurance. Okay. Can the carriers also add you as a dispatcher too? Yes, they will be adding you as an independent freight dispatcher. And again, they're not adding you, for example, as a Grace, meaning like your personal name, for example. They'll be adding your business, because it's business to business. It's an entity, right? You own an entity, and this is why I say you must have a company if you really wanted to do like business legally and structuring your business legally. So you will have LLC. And again, LLC is one of the structures in the business, right? So the LLC stands for limited liability company. And obviously, the carriers will add your company, your LLC, your limited liability company into their insurance as a certificate holder. That means, in a way, in a simplest way to explain this is that it's like you also own this policy. Think about that way. And then you additionally insured, meaning, yes, you'll be protected by my insurance, for example. If I'm a carrier, I own my insurance, and you will be protected. Yes, that is possible. And actually, this is the way how it goes. So let me take. Great question, Grace. I haven't seen you in last two Q&A sessions. So Teran says, who should I start calling first? Carriers when I get the paperwork aspect down. Okay, so who should I start calling first? Carriers. Okay, so as far as paperwork aspect goes, meaning you have the independent freight dispatching business contracted with the carriers, which is carrier dispatcher agreement. That means that paperwork aspect is good. You're good to go. And who you calling as far as booking the load, or can you be specific, please? As far as this question, it's not clear. So you will be calling. So if you get contracted with the carrier, so now you legally connected, let's say business to business, then obviously you'll be calling broker and to get a load, let's say, or to book a load. And then when you have the rate confirmation, and again, you basically dispatching to a driver. So that helps. Okay. Let me take this question. We'll go step by step. Robert says, what is a good software to do IFTA? Okay. International Full Tax. For those of you who don't know IFTA, get it back office support service. I offer to carriers. I currently use, and also start using QuickBooks. And QuickBooks, as in TMS, is the truck management software. Think about that way. But the QuickBooks, it's more of a they like kind of niche down as far as financial, as far as number goes. So when you think QuickBooks, think financial side of your business. And there are some transportation management softwares out there that they do combine everything like in one place, in one hub. Think about it that way. But QuickBooks, it's all about numbers. So as far as this TMS, but what I can recommend is using the ITS dispatch. It's because of the user, it is actually user friendly. In most of the carriers, they use the ITS dispatch by truckstop.com. So I'm not affiliated. I'm just recommending because I used to have that account. And as far as dispatching, there are Dr. Dispatch and there are many others, but I can't remember the names for the software. But the ITS dispatch will do the work. Let's see. Okay. So Agas says, I was also wondering, as you have mentioned about considering any legal advice with the CPA or attorney, should I ask to take advice from CPA located in States or Canada? CPA will be able to help me. Yes, I always recommend working with professionals. When you're starting out, it doesn't matter. Yes, maybe when you're starting out, yes, you will be keeping. Think about managing, I would say, expenses for your business. It can quickly add up. And I know, like, you're basically starting your business, maybe, I don't know, with the limited, like as far as money goes or funds go. So the attorneys, obviously, they're expensive, but they're professionals, right? We need their help. And CPA, if you're located in Canada or in the States, I would say if you're running, and again, it's my personal opinion, this is what I can advise. Since you will be creating business in the States, then I would suggest that you work with the CPA in the States, because they will know ins and outs of the regulations and everything whatnot as far as CPA goes. So I'm not sure as far as Canada goes, because I'm not into Canada, but I would advise you start working with the CPA even when you're starting out. So if you just have your LLC, you don't have any carriers yet, I would recommend starting with working with CPA. So most of them, what we see now is that they're cloud-based meaning it's on the internet. So they will give you the access for everything. Just you will upload like everything as far as your company goes, and they will be managing your company. And obviously you can ask any questions as you go. I do a lot. So let me see what we have. I'm planning to charge 8%, okay, from each load, and it is my standard dispatch plan for carriers. Plus, it comes with 24/7 dispatch support. Wow, that is a bold statement. I also have a professional plan and full management services. Well, I love the way you said management services. That is the key. That's good. The percentage goes up as the services added. Do you think it's a fair price? As far as 8%, but I really want to know what am I getting as far as 8%? Like, let's talk about that. And that would be the one thing. And then another thing is 24/7 dispatch service. I'm assuming maybe you are up and running. So if not, then 24/7, it's a bold statement because your carriers, they will buy into this, meaning 24/7, it means a lot to carriers. But at the same time, they will be calling you 24/7. So if you have, team that already they're helping you, then you're fine, right? But 24/7 dispatch, it's actually a really bold statement. It's a lot of promise. Think about that way. Think about this way: drivers will be calling you 24/7, 365. This is, so this is important. And for the planning to charge, okay, so you're planning, so assuming you're starting out, or maybe you already charging, but you planning to charge 8%. But why 8%? If I'm a carrier, if I'm interested in your businesses, then why you're charging me 8%? And then what am I getting in return if I say yes to your services? And what do you mean when you say full management? That is a good thing. And as far as fair price, let me know this, and then we'll get into this. As far as fair price, I think it's a fair, and again, let me know what are your services. What am I getting in return for 8%? Okay, good question. Okay, let's take this question. Which is the best to first reach out? Should be reaching out for carriers or brokers? Okay, this is as far as carriers, meaning you'll be, reaching out to carriers. So you must have carriers. So you'll be, calling brokers. Brokers, they're ready to dispatch. They have a lot of loads. Think about it that way. But if you don't have trucks, meaning your carriers, then you can call these brokers. They'll be like ready to book a load with you. But if you don't have, trucks, then what will happen? Then obviously carriers first, then brokers. But if you're saying, come on, I have a carrier and I'm looking for loads, should I call, carriers first to let him know that I'll be booking this load? Then I will be contacting brokers saying, hey, I really want to get this load from you, for example, right? In a basic, language. But if you do that, then obviously while you're calling the carrier, then that load probability is high that it's gone already. So seconds matter in this business. So talk about with your carriers, get an agreement that you won't be calling him. You will be working with the drivers, and you can say that, hey, this is my plan. This is what I'll be doing, for example, next 6 months. So you're not calling carriers, if that makes sense. Okay, Robert says, thank you. You're welcome. Okay. So would you recommend any CPA in your... Okay, no one in Florida. I don't have anybody in Florida, but do research as far as CPA goes. You can pick any state and then start contacting them. If you have the subscription as far as QuickBooks goes, or you can search CPAs inside this software, because CPAs, they're using majority of those CPAs using the QuickBooks, so you can find CPAs that way. Okay. Because I have a team of guys in my country, I outsource. Okay. I think this question is, as you can see, I just see Facebook user. I don't see the name, but so yes. Then if you're outsourcing, then yes, as I said, if you have a team, then 24/7 is a possibility. But if you just one-man show, you're just starting out, and obviously this 24/7, it means a lot. And if I were you, 24/7, it just one man show, then I would offer, I don't know, maybe 20% as far as services go. Okay. Yahio says, I'm interested in trucking company, okay, being a carrier, but I'm wondering how difficult to start trucking company outside US. Is it possible to start trucking business while being a non-resident? Absolutely. You can start, let's specify. I can't say that you can start any businesses because it's a bold statement. I can't say that, but I have a lot of friends and families that outside the U.S. and they have businesses in the United States. As far as trucking goes, as far as independent dispatching goes, and yes, it is possible. And as far as difficult, think about the business. If you know how to run business, for example, if you have an experience, then maybe you're new, for example. Running a business is not an easy job. It's actually it's difficult, it's hard, it's not easy, right? There will be a lot of problems. For example, you as a business owner solving those problems. I can't promise that you will have up and running business, everything will be smooth. No, problems will be there always. It just it's up to you how you manage that stress or how you solve those problems. Difficult, even being in the States, running a trucking company is difficult. And if you're running, let's say, outside of US, that adds up a little bit, right? So it's a little bit more complicated than being in the United States, but it's definitely doable. So let's see. Another question: if I buy one truck down the line, so should I create separate entity? Oh, this is a good question. Entity for you mean carrier with a different name, or do you recommend to use the same name as an independent truck dispatching company? Okay, so I had this. We have Q&A sessions on Thursday, and I had one of my students. He's in California, and he had a lot of experience as far as trucking company goes. And he said, Kamal, I had this, but trucking company, but I didn't dissolve this company, so it's still active. But now I'm interested in becoming independent freight dispatcher. What should I do? Should I do DBA? For those of you who don't know, DBA stands for doing business as. Think about fictitious name. And I said, okay, but what about the IRS, meaning the tax side of it? So if you declare you are a carrier to a state, think about California, for example. You declare to that state that you are a trucking company, but now you're conducting a different business. How that works, right? So now what will happen is that your state, let's say it's California, I'm just giving you an example. Now, your state will will report your business to IRS saying that, hey, this company is actually a trucking company. And then the IRS will give you the EIN, which is employment identification number. Think about, social security number for your business. And now they're charging you based on trucking company. But now maybe you're thinking like, Kamal, what about if I have trucking company and I'll do DBA, which is like fictitious name, it's doing business as. And again, if you call it like, I don't know, ABC Independent Freight Dispatching Services, but like it is actually a trucking company. And again, it's the same EIN number. So what you need to do is that, and again, this is the question to CPAs and lawyers or small business attorneys, but this is based on my experience. What I would do is that I declare to my state that I'll change the business model. I would say it's not a trucking company anymore, but this is a management/consulting business, this is where the independent freight dispatching fits in. It's management/consulting business. Then you can run your LLC, or you can keep that as it is, your trucking company, and then create new LLC for your dispatching services. Hope that makes sense. Okay, so let's see what we have. Okay, so can you tell, what is CPA? It's a certified public accountant. Think about accountant. It's a person who does everything as far as numbers go in your business. So that is a CPA. So, okay, let's go back. Jaku says, I I advertise that I'm available 24/7 because when my drivers are on, okay, that makes sense. And I call them to check on them. You can do that. Absolutely. I'm not saying that you can't, but it's really bold promise. And obviously, you can have this agreement between you and your carrier saying that, hey, I'll be available 7 p.m. or 7 a.m. to 7 p.m., right? This is my availability. If you need more services from me, which is, let's say, 24/7, then for 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. I charge, let's say, X amount of percentage. And then if you need my 24/7, then it's X, the percentage based on the services, because they will demand a lot from you, right? And you just basically train your drivers. So if they know if you're available from 7 to 7, there's no way that they will be calling you, let's say, in the middle of the night. But if you say it's 24/7, if you're charging accordingly, then obviously you can do that, right? More power to you. Okay. Let's say CPA is a full form is okay. Professional account. You can think of professional accountant on public accountant, certified public accountant, but it's an accountant. So let's see. Thanks. You're welcome. Okay, let me go back to this question. Full management. I mean everything. Okay, what's everything means? That carriers have to do to operate their businesses. Oh, okay. It's including marketing, it's including operations, it's including, hiring, firing drivers, training drivers. Like it's a lot, right? But if you're saying, full management, then yes. Okay, then I'm interested like how much you're charging. So driver, okay. Recruiting, safety, 24/7, weather monitoring to okay, is going to 24. Okay. Fleet maintenance, okay. In many more, these are the just examples. Okay. And obviously, if I were you, I wouldn't charge 8%. That is not fair as far as your company goes. So if you're doing all of these, well, I would rather ask 20% for these services. That's based on my experience again. 8%, it's really good for carriers, but 8% is it's not fair for you as a business owner. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Let me come back. Let me see as far as time goes. Okay, we're good. So we have about 15 more minutes and see. Andrea says, like if I have a website and social media already for my business, what is another way to help market and find carriers that may be willing to work with me? Great question. I've also tried contacting companies directly. Okay, which is cold calling maybe. And again, Andrea, it's this is not the specific way. It's like in general. So you have your website. It's okay. You have your social media, but what do you do with those tools? Like, are you driving traffic to your website, or is just the website? See, if just a website, then it's no different than digital version of your business card, for example. Like, are you giving these business card, right? So if you're not doing anything, then obviously it's not a good strategy. Having a business website, it's good, right? And social media. Let's take social media example as far as Facebook. Okay, what about? What do you have as far as Facebook goes? Do you mean personal profile? Do you mean groups? Do you mean pages? What do you mean? So those are the things that it's really important. So if you have that, then you need to start advertising, driving traffic. That is that. So that is really important. And again, so I'll give you an example. If you have a Facebook page for your business, then you start advertising on Facebook so that you can get in front of the carrier saying, hey, here I am. I have independent freight dispatching business. Let's work. Okay. So contacting companies directly, it's a good, but directly means emailing them, which is direct marketing, or you just calling, which is cold calling. Just let me know. Okay, so let's see this. Okay, I think would be, let me see. Thank you, Kamal. Yes, you're welcome. Let me take this real quick. When you're choosing a market, Okay, should I choose between drive-in and reefer, or should I do both? Okay, I know you would recommend flatbed since you are in the flatbed market, but since I'm barely, okay, starting here is a lot of terminology. I know. I'm barely learning as far as equipment like what is it, chains, yeah, tarps, and etc. Yes. Um, and obviously you said it already, right? And you said that, Kamal, even just one market, which is flatbed market, there are a lot of terminologies to learn. And the idea is that I'm not saying that you have to choose the flatbed market because I'm in the flatbed market. But what I'm trying to say is that you just pick one. Why? Because each market is huge, right? And students have this thinking of, if I offer more, then I will get more, carriers. And we talked about this. It's actually less is more, right? So you just pick one market and start, getting in front of the carriers saying, hey, I really specialize in flatbed market, maybe reefer market or drive-in market. And then you start offering your services to these carriers. Coming back to question like, what should I choose? And again, I can, just advise you or just give you the recommendations, but obviously you are a business owner, I'm assuming, and you have to pick one. And what's the difference, drive-in and reefer? But again, these are the two different markets, right? Even though trailers look similar, and maybe you with the reefer, a trailer, you can haul drive-in, loads. But again, reefer itself is a different market. So I would, recommend choosing one. Just drive-in, pick drive-in. Reefer, pick, reefer. Flatbed, just pick flatbed. Right? It's all up to you. So let me see. Great questions, by the way. As an independent dispatcher, I use factoring companies to look for drivers. What other resources do you use? Okay, I use, which is, social media marketing, and this actually was the theme of this, the video. But factoring companies, not every. But what we're talking about is the email blast. What I mean by email blast is that you're contacting, carriers. I mean, the factoring company saying, "Hey, I'm an independent freight dispatcher, guys. I have a service. I can help your, customers, which is, the carrier." And then you'll be just, saying, "Hey, promote me." That is in a basic way of saying this, but not every the companies, like a factoring companies, they do this. Not everybody. So that is a limitation, or you can think about it, disadvantage of executing this strategy. But what we do is that we do organic marketing, and we do paid ads. So paid ads, we use social media. So we get in front of the carriers. This is what we do. Okay, so sorry for the commenting through Facebook. Actually, I'm one of your students. Okay, bought your course, which were helpful for me. Awesome. Well, welcome to the family. So let's see. And by the way, if you're a student, so we have Mondays and Thursdays Q&A sessions, more in-depth training. Okay, let me go back. Okay, Abel says, best way to run your independent dispatch service into 24-hour service. Okay, is that a question? Best way to turn your independent dispatch service into 24-hour service? If that statement, I would agree. I would say. Okay, so let's go. No way I will charge more, of course, for my full management service, 8%. It's just a basic plan that carriers can choose. Okay, the 8% is the basic plan. Okay, I got it. Good. Are there any courses of yours that help how to start trucking company for beginning in detail? Okay, here's the deal. So, like, I'm a carrier. I own my own trucks. So, but I'm really focusing on how you can become independent freight dispatcher. But I have students that they, have family members like husband, maybe brother, or relatives that they're in the trucking, like they really want to drive, for example, and they want to become, let's say, carriers. And obviously, I give recommendations, or I help them, which trucks to buy, like as far as the getting you their MC numbers or the DOT numbers. I help, but I don't teach. Like there's no specific course that I do like step by step. So let's see. Okay, thank you. You're welcome. Yes, directly emailing to companies. Okay. When you directly emailing to companies, that is one way. But think about your leads. Leads meaning people that are receiving your emails. Are they cold? Meaning they don't know anything about you. This is the first time they're receiving email from you. They don't know anything about you, and you don't know anything about them, just an email address. That is a cold audience. And maybe they're warm audience. Warm meaning somehow you guys maybe interacted, I don't know, or maybe this carrier was on your website and maybe he downloaded something or he just somehow interacted with your business or connected with your business or just saw your ad. This is not a first time. This is what I'm trying to say. Then it's a warm audience. Then there's like warm audience, or think about warm leads, or think then, I mean, the next will be hot leads. The hot leads is basically, for example, if you want to become my student, so now you're asking questions, so now we're interacting. You know me, let's say I know you, then I'm emailing you my course saying, hey, let's join, I will teach you like in detail, right? So you will become independent freight dispatcher. Now you're a hot lead. See that? So cold, warm, and then hot. The way that the language you're using will be different. So if you're just pitching, then actually pitching to these cold audience won't work because they don't know anything about you. So there will be specific language to use to cold audience. If this warm audience, then even better. Now you're using totally different language. And again, you're not pitching. Pitching meaning, hey, buy my services. Let's connect. No, it's not going to work that way. And then hot is like they're ready, but there's like a little bit of convincing needed. The language for that is totally different, but it's powerful though. Email marketing. Okay. So I have received 20 of my drivers from factoring companies. That is possible. I didn't say that you can't. I get a lot of leads from my factoring companies. Yes, but what I'm saying is that not many people, I mean, not many companies, they do that, but it works and it's effective. Yeah, congratulations. So let's see. Can I use DAT Load Board to dispatch for Canadian market as well? As far as I know, there is, I think, a safe link, but I can't remember exactly the name for the load board. But they're like partner with that company, and I'm not sure because it's specific. I'm not going to confuse the audience because this is for the U.S. market. But if you're trying to, let's say, if you're in the States and you want to use this DAT power, there will be loads, that you can deliver, in Canada, but it's not. You won't have a lot of. Let's say that way. You won't have a lot of loads that going into Canada. Think about that way. But what I'm trying to say is that there is a load board that is specifically for Canadian market. I think it's SafeLink. I can't remember the name. So, okay, this is this is a very common question, so I'll take this. So, what are you from? I'm from Turkey, so I'm Turkish. So most people get confused about this, and by my last name, yeah, I'm a Turkish. So let's go back. Okay, so we are about 45 minutes, and I will take one more question, to be fair, and then we end this live Q&A, and then I will, we'll doing this Q&A sessions every Tuesday for now, and the Fridays. So please let me know if you have load link. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Andres says, awesome. Thanks, Kamal. Definitely hope I can learn directly from you one day. Okay, sure. Let's take this question and we'll end the live stream. 8% also comes with the separate team for each carrier broker. Okay, setups. Okay. Power on loads if carriers didn't have their trailer to use, consulting to choose factoring companies. Awesome. Okay. Yeah, but and again, it's a lot of work though. So if you're really thinking that 8% will be enough, it's a fair price, then obviously you can do that. Then yeah, absolutely. So, well, thank you for questions. I really appreciate your inputs. And again, let's meet on Tuesday it will be about 4 or 6. We're still doing the research as far as time frame goes. So please, guys, if you like this video, please share, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. As I said, we talk about business, entrepreneurship, trucking, and more specifically how you can become independent freight dispatcher. And I have the links. If I mentioned course, there will be a link for the course below this video, and their load boards, it's below this video. And also we prepared the startup guide, how you can become an independent freight dispatcher. There is a link for startup guide. You can use that. And again, thank you. If you have any questions, please let me know, and we'll go from there. Thank you.